there's a lot of glucose because they're so much sweeter than sugar. Your body doesn't know what they are because we're 200,000 years old as Homo sapiens. And if you've listened to me, on Chris Lewis's show, on your show, I talk about that all the time, how old we are as humans. And you eat this stuff and you start to put weight on, estrogen begins to be produced from the fat cells. And then the estrogen, so your fat cells produce estrogen, which is a really strong chemical. Insulin makes you fat, which produces estrogen, which produces more fat, which produces more insulin. And then you become, estrogen, then you become estrogen dominant just from walking around because you have so many fat cells. And the cycle's really hard to break if you follow the protocols that you're seeing on TV, which is high carbohydrate, low fat. It's almost impossible to do that. So these hormones that people need for happy, healthy bodies, so growth repair and sex hormones and stress hormones, if you're not eating a balanced diet, including saturated fat from healthy animals, your hormone system is going to be screwed up and there's no way you can be happy and healthy, much less when you exercise. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, Nan asked a perfect question at a perfect time. She says, how do you break all of this stuff and send it packing? Well, let's start, I'm here, you're going to coach me now. Our coaching session shall begin. So let's send it packing.
What now? So I can't see, my chat window's not working. So Nan wants to know send what pack.
No, we're just starting. We're going to start if I came to you for my coaching session, here it begins.
Okay, so the first thing that I would, when I do this fast track, you have the list that I sent you, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so on a 28-day fast track, this is the best way that I have found to work with people to get their systems cleaned out. Yes, it's a detox protocol, but it's not, you don't have to eat grapes for 28 days. I really don't like those kind of really, really stressful detoxing things because I think your body needs good nutrition on board when you're getting off of crap food.
So why 28 days?
Because when I do it for 2 weeks, because 28 days is really, it is something people can get their minds around. 14 days isn't enough time. I've done it for 14 days and people don't really, that's not enough time for people to see a weight loss. And that's why most people want to do it. They want to lose weight. And so 14 days is just when somebody like you, Sherry, that has been carrying some weight around for a while and is estrogen dominant like you are, it could take you 3 weeks before weight's going to start to drop off. There's a lot of stuff going on in your body. And so that's why I like to go 28 days. It's not 6 months. It's not a year. It's only 28 days. It's 4 weeks. Right? Mm-hmm. So that makes it's easy, it's palatable. There are people that go on these you could eat the way that I'm going to have you eat, Sherry, for the rest of your life.
Right, and that's kind of what I was kind of planning.
Right. And so what you'll do after these 28 days is a lot of these foods that I'm having you eat have antifungal properties. A lot of times people who have been eating a lot of carbohydrates or have put on a lot of weight or have fungus, systemic candida, which can create depression and can create cravings. The very foods that you are allergic to often, for some reason, I forget what the term is. I can't remember it. I should, but I don't remember what the term is. But a lot of times people who are allergic to foods they're eating actually crave them. And that has to do with a lot of things, but it can actually be because you're feeding a growing organism of fungus in your body. And fungus shows up in a lot of ways, which, that's a whole nother show we could talk about. But all of these foods have antifungal properties to them. Coconut oil has antifungal properties. The berries do. You get to eat berries. You get to eat any kind of vegetable you want. You can't have coffee. You can't have caffeine because it stimulates the adrenal glands. That is the biggest reason on the planet why people won't do this, because they can't have caffeine.
Oh, and I'm I'm not worried about that. We have a question. How do you check as a coach that I'm going to be following this plan? How are you going to keep accountability?
Usually what I have is weekly check-ins. So what I have people do, and this is what I sent you in an email, is I will not work with people on this plan unless they commit to the full 28 days. That means you can't cheat. That means it means 28 days that you have to be accountable to yourself, that you have to be willing to commit 28 days to your health and wellness. It's not for me. It's for you. And so if people are waffling on it and they'll go, oh, I don't know if I can then I don't want to do it with them because it won't work. And then they'll say to me at the end of 28 days, it didn't work, Nancy. And I'll be, actually it would have worked if you would have stuck with it. So there has to be accountability, and people need to do some really inward looking and focusing to make sure they're willing to not lie to themselves to do this. Because
what happens if, say, I accidentally, and I'm just using the word accidentally rather loosely, accidentally ate a piece of pumpkin pie?
Well, there's no accidentally about it. You would know. You would know. See, that's what I'm talking about, is that people, and this is where when you work with me, because I'm a drug addict, I'm an alcoholic, and I have had issues with overeating, where I couldn't stop eating. So I know when somebody says to me, Nancy, I accidentally ate a piece of pumpkin pie, what I'm going to say is, what do you mean accidentally? What does that mean? Did the pie jump out your mouth?
I was being facetious there, but what I'm saying is, what would happen to me on my plan? Would that totally make me have to start over?
Yes.
Or what's the...
Yes. You would have to start over again. Because remember, it says, and this is, I'm very clear about this if you're going to do fast tracking, I require a 28-day commitment. You being willing to be an adult, not you, Sherry, but you people.
We're talking to me, so yeah.
Right. You, Sherry, then, you have to be willing to be an adult and say, I am not going to do this for 28 days. It is only 28 days, and that's why I do it, because it's not 6 months. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm concerned, I've done this. I've done it multiple times. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to do. So what I do then is I'm going to give you, like L-glutamine, I would say this is what you need to go out and get before you start this, because you're going to go through some intense sugar cravings about day 5.
Okay, well, I've already done this for